Pickings.
What's
I'm Gio,
up?
of course, and we are here with Claude Evangelista. Bro, I had to write this down. So you have a USPA, or you're an official United States Parachute Association member, and you also have a PADI membership.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
apparently, I don't know if you knew this, man, but the U.S. Parachute Association only has 40,000 members,
Yeah.
and PADI only has 135.
Yeah.
So
it's
that's pretty
really,
wild, man.
yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen, I'm gonna be posting obviously his social media links here. But Cloud is an adventure guy, and he films everything that he does. Skydiving and scuba diving is what I've seen, but I know you also travel on land and you do a bunch of photography
Yeah.
and film.
Mostly film, yeah.
Mostly film.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. How did you get into that?
Well, for skydiving, I did my first skydive in Dubai. I have a friend who works in Emirates, and it was my 21st birthday. And yeah, she asked me to come over and we'll hang out. So
So she's your friend's gone skydiving before.
no, not yet.
Oh, so it was your first time for the both of you.
No, she didn't go skydiving, but she was there and was looking for cool to do in Dubai, and I saw skydiving in the Palm, and I was like, that looks awesome. So
Wow.
yeah, I did it, and after that, I said,
You know,
I want to do
most
it again.
people
man.
wouldn't say that, right? No, most people would be like, "No, I'm not gonna do that." But you actually want.
Oh yeah, I mean it's different. Like it feels out of this world. You know, you don't get to think about anything except for that moment, which is why I love doing it. You know, repeatedly.
Run
so.
us through the first time you went skydiving. I know, like most people have seen skydiving videos, but the thought process and like what happens when you decide, yes, I'm gonna do this, and what happens when you're up on the plane, you're up in the air, and before you jump, like how did you feel?
Well, my first skydive, I had an instructor, obviously, so I couldn't really do anything. I was strapped onto him, so
No choice. No.
yeah, no choice.
Here we
But
go.
like, I was nervous, of course. I was nervous, and when I was, in the drop zone, but then I went to the plane, and then I'm like, oh, we're really doing this.
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, that's when I was already getting nervous already, and
Of course.
I was looking out the window, and I was
Yeah,
like,
when
wow,
they're
we're
hanging,
really
when
high.
they're hanging, right? And they're like, okay, here we go, and you're just
Yeah,
like,
or
wow.
not just that. Like even going
Even
up
on the
still.
window.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
we're really up high, and we're still going higher. So
And the feeling in that small plane is different when you're in like a 747, right? Like traveling international.
yeah, well, in Dubai, there's bigger planes.
Oh, okay.
You know, so we rode a. I forgot the name of the plane, but yeah, it was a bigger plane, bigger than a Cessna plane, and
Okay.
a Twin Otter. Yeah, we rode a Twin Otter aircraft, and it was pretty big, but it was scary, you know.
Yeah, dude.
And yeah, the minute you jump, like the fear just goes away, and then you're just like, yeah,
Wow.
you know. So
Wow.
Yeah.
It's still pretty overwhelming. I don't know. Like when I watch your videos, man, it's like parang nalulula ako. I'm like, whoa, what is he doing that?
yeah, I mean, yeah, the first skydive is always a scary one, but actually, at that time I didn't know, but our parachute malfunctioned.
Oh.
Yeah, and they had to cut it off and use the reserve. So we slowed down. So that's when I knew that the parachute opened, because we
Went up,
slowed
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And then I heard the ching. So someone cutting. I heard the girl, because it was a girl who was
Your instructor.
my instructor. Yeah. And I heard a ching. So she cut the main, and then we started tumbling back in the sky. And then the second parachute went up,
Whoa.
and I was like, "What just happened?" And
Did she
was
say?
like, "Oh, I don't want to tell you. You might get scared." And I'm like, "Well, it already happened. I think I already knew what happened."
We're still alive. so
Yeah,
it's
and she
okay.
said, "Oh, the first parachute didn't work, but it happens time to time." And I was like,
Oh my
okay.
god.
Okay.
Do you know how many fatalities there are in skydiving? I guess they don't tell you these
No,
things.
I think there's about 37 in the last few years, if I'm not mistaken. But it's
Okay.
not really. Skydiving is very safe. What's
Yeah.
dangerous is base jumping. Have you heard of base jumping?
Tell me about that. I think, but I don't want to assume. Yeah.
Base jumping is like you jump through buildings, not through planes. So you're much closer to land.
from buildings and then parachuting down.
And you don't have a reserve parachute. You only have one. So
Oh.
if you it up, you're gone.
Whoa,
So
whoa.
that's a dangerous sport. But I
Yeah.
really I don't consider skydiving dangerous.
It's not dangerous to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have a lot of safety measures when it comes to skydiving.
Yeah.
So
Such as like 2 parachutes just in
yeah,
case,
you have
right?
2 parachutes. You have an AAD. It's called an automatic activation device. So
Okay.
if by 2,000 feet it detects that you're still falling fast, it will automatically pop out your reserve parachute. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's a lot of safety measures. Plus, if you up in the sky at about 10,000 feet, you have a lot of time, probably about 30 seconds to make a decision. Should I keep this parachute? Should I cut it off? Should
How
I
much
open?
time is so the highest point when you actually jump is 10,000 feet? Or
No,
higher?
the highest point is 14 to 15,000
14
feet.
to 15. And
Yeah.
from 15,000 feet, let's say, to when you tug your parachute, how
It's
much
about
time?
a minute. Yeah,
a minute.
60 seconds of free fall. So it feels forever there. So that's really long when you're in the
But
sky.
you're saying that's a lot of time to make a decision in case you need to make an emergency
yeah, in
decision.
case something bad happens, you have a lot
Okay.
of time to like.
60 seconds, man. That's how long I used to watch them. Like if you're taking a piss, like 60 seconds.
But when you're falling down the sky, everything is kind of slow.
Everything's slow
if you know
motion,
what I mean.
huh?
Like you have
Wow.
time. Like your brain just goes really fast and just thinks very fast for you. So I think that's really cool.
Whoa.
You get to see how strong your brain is in terms of critical thinking at a short period of time. So
Do you still think like that every time you jump? Like, do you feel like your brain is like on ultra, like you're using all your brain as soon as you jump? You're like, like super fast.
No, I'm just happy.
It's chill now,
I'm just,
huh?
yeah, because I've done it a lot of times. So
Yeah.
every time I do it, it's just because when you're an experienced skydiver, what you do now is you with your friends, with a group of friends, you try to do formations.
Right.
You can practice formations, you can go to each other
Tricks
or
and-
do
yeah.
tricks, so that's really what's in your head. You're on the way up in the plane, you're already thinking of what you guys discussed on the
How you're
ground,
gonna
like how you
play
guys are
and-
gonna meet. If I say this, that means breakaway,
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that you think of.
When
And
you're
then
up
everything
there.
else is like second nature, like pulling your chute, getting away from everyone else. That's all second nature.
Wow,
So,
man. So what you guys do in the sky, like you're playing, is kind of like guys playing basketball or like people playing, like just driving around with their cars kind of thing. It's just second nature to you guys.
yeah, and
That's
it's
so
fun.
cool.
You guys are just holding hands and just like,
Yeah.
what's up? And then just, so it's always fun. Even if you mess up the skydive. When I say mess up, like even when you like don't do what
You
you,
didn't
guys
get
were
the
supposed to do,
routine or
yeah,
whatever,
or
yeah.
like you guys like fumble up in the air. It ends up being funny, because
Still
it's
okay.
like, yeah, it's
But
still a
that's
fun
only
experience.
1 minute of fun.
No, not really.
While you're up in the air, right?
Well, you have like 6 minutes to land, so
Oh, okay.
you can still
So-
play with your parachute going down, and
Wow. No, that's such a high. That seems so short-lived, like.
Yeah, but it's really-
But it's exhilarating.
It's addicting,
still.
man.
Yeah, it's addicting. I mean, that's why you still do it. So
Yeah.
how did it transition from that initial addiction into something that you actually want to do professionally?
Well, I'm not really a professional skydiver because a professional skydiver does competitions.
Competitions, but you're an instructor, as in you would get paid, I guess, to jump with people, right?
Oh no, an instructor you have to do 500 skydives in 3 years and take exams.
Oh, wow.
So
Oh, wow.
what I do the most is like I take videos of tandem. So
Right.
let's say it's your first time skydiving, you have someone strapped onto you, right? And I'll be with you, but I'm taking your video. So I'll be the first out the plane, and then I'm gonna get the shot of you, getting off the plane with the instructor, and then I'll just take a video of you skydiving. So
Right.
that's the most that I can do as professional.
see.
But the real professionals, man, they have like I have about 200 skydives.
So you're
and,
working towards that, I'm assuming, no? Do you want to?
It's a lot of work,
It
and
is, yeah.
I have other things that I wanna prioritize on. But why not? If in the future, why not? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like so I have 200 skydives, and people think that's a lot. But if the real professional ones, they have like my instructor has 18,000 skydives.
18,000.
Yeah, because they do it for a living. 10,000 skydives, 7,000 skydives.
Ooh,
So
wow.
those are the pros because they
Yeah.
live in the drop zone. They park at an RV there, or they have a
Yeah.
tent there.
They
and they
just live there by
skydiving every day, especially in the States
Whoa.
or Russia or
Yeah.
countries like that. It's very skydiving is a popular sport.
It isn't really a thing here in the Philippines.
Not
huh?
yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. That's why most of the skydivers here are military, and there's only a few civilian skydivers here. So
And where can you go? Because I saw your videos in the beach, right? So you guys can obviously.
yeah, if you guys
do some
wanna go,
dives.
if you guys wanna go skydiving, it's a USPA accredited drop zone, which means safety is number one. You can go to Skydive Greater Cebu, and there's a new one, Skydive Greater Siquijor.
Hey,
And they're
okay.
both really nice. Like like your view is like, you know, like the blue reef,
pristine
you know,
waters,
like,
right?
Yeah, like you can see the
Yeah.
sand. It's amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
no, you're saying the videos. You guys have to check out these videos. Like landing on sand.
Yeah,
it's like it's soft, it's nice, and then you got the beach right there. You don't have to worry about anything. Like it's such a chill way to dive, right?
Yeah, there was one time, I don't know if you saw, there was one time I landed on the water.
Yep. I saw that
on
one.
the water.
Doesn't that
and-
hurt?
No, not really.
Okay.
It hurts my wallet because I broke the AAD I was telling you earlier,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
activation device. It's not waterproof, so
Oh.
that got wet, and that thing is like $1,000. So
No.
it hurt my wallet. I had to buy a new one. And I was like, and that's important. So
Did you mean
always
to
need
land in
have-
the water?
No.
Oh, okay, that's
I don't
why
know if you
it's-
guys know Raymart Santiago. He's a GMA actor here,
Okay.
and he's a fellow skydiver.
Yeah.
So we skydive together, and basically, so we did the beach landing on our
Yeah.
boxers, right? And I was going down. My parachute goes down faster than his.
Yeah.
So he was in my front. He was in the front of me, and I could have hit him.
Oh, so you had to.
So if this was the beach and this is the water, this is the beach part.
Yeah.
He was here in the middle, and I turned left, and I was really close to him. So I was like, that.
Yeah.
So I moved to the left, and I could have adjusted more to the right to hit the sand, but at that time I was just like, play it safe. And
Just in
it's also
case.
nice, like it's like a bucket list landing on the water
Dude,
itself.
yeah.
It's kind of fun. So
Raymart should pay for your AED, man.
he bought me a drink. Yes. Got me a beer after. So
Oh man! But before you, got into all that, you were already a video guy. I guess you've been filming. Is that what you do professionally?
yeah.
Prior to?
Well, I didn't go to college. Not because I didn't want to, because I didn't get accepted anywhere.
Oh, okay.
I was kind of a terrible student in high school, so
Dude.
I didn't go to college,
Welcome
but
to
I
the
went
club,
to
man. Yeah.
but I went to film school. It's not
Okay.
it's not a college, it's not a university. It's like a diploma, a 1-year diploma.
Right.
But everything's hands-on, so you learn a lot.
Nice.
You know, not like other colleges where they teach you theory and
It's all
everything.
this is
Everything's
immediate
hands-on.
application, right?
Yeah,
That's
so
the way to go, man.
it was really helpful. They make us do films and everything, and yeah. After that, like everything. After that, I formed a company, a production house with my eldest brother and 2 of our friends from film school, and
You just started
doing corporate work.
knocking on doors.
Yeah, and
How
you
did
know,
that start? Yeah, because a lot of people, I'm sure, want to do that. But how did you start that?
I think it doesn't really matter what credentials you have. Like, oh, I went to this school. I went to that. That doesn't matter. I think what matters is your portfolio. Whether you can. I think the clients just want to know if you can do the job.
Right.
Well. That's all that matters to them. Doesn't matter if you studied here or there. So, we started making fake commercials first. Like just to show that we can do it. We just to show our skills. Yeah, we can do it. But
So
it was,
your guys' goal was, okay, we got to get
portfolio, yeah.
a portfolio. But the type of clients, did you realize, like, okay, these are the paying clients, we need to do this type of portfolio, like these kinds of commercials?
yeah, we just did all kinds. We also did weddings as well.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
anything and everything.
Yeah, anything
You're
and
like,
everything.
we need
man.
to get paid. We got to
Yeah.
figure it out.
Yeah. But after a few years, I left. So I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to
Okay.
have, that's when I started doing lifestyle and travel, cinematography or filmmaking, because I have control of everything.
Right.
Especially me, I'm very OC with my shots, with how I want things to,
So
be
everything
done.
right now is all you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Cool, man.
It has its ups and downs.
Yeah, I get
It's
you,
tough,
but
man.
you're
Like,
just so particular that it's like if it looks bad, then I'm responsible.
Yeah,
It's my
exactly. You're responsible. You know, there's no more blame game. You're not blaming anyone. You're not blaming your colleague. Oh, you know, you didn't do this or you didn't do that. You know, so you're responsible for everything. You know, and it's a nice way to grow, and I love it. You know, like
It's your taste too, man. Like everything you're doing is like travel, adventure, lifestyle, and that's your thing. Because if you're working with someone they don't like that,
exactly.
or they don't understand the taste, and it's tough.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because, you know, aside from you having your own freedom, I have a unique opportunity to mix everything that I love: filmmaking, skydiving, scuba diving, underwater. You know, so it's awesome because you get to mix everything that you love. You know.
Yeah.
And those are the only three things I really love, you know, is going out there, going to the unknown, skydiving, getting underwater shots, looking for
It's crazy, man.
awesome creatures, you know, like the depths of the ocean. So it's really cool, man. Like,
How did you get your first corporate client in order to? Because there's a lot of people that are doing things that they love and they're getting good at it, but it's that transition into something that makes it. Well, you need to make a living out of it, right? If you want to keep doing it.
my first corporate as a lifestyle videographer, or
as
like
you,
just as me. Well, my first airline that got me was AirAsia.
See, that's amazing, man. That's a big contract.
And everything
right?
was and it was my first, and you know, I did.
Did you knock on
pretty
doors,
well.
like, or did they find you? They're like, wow, this guy's. Like, how was it?
I was in Instagram and I saw like this Filipino community, Sino Pinas, and they were looking for more people, and I offered my services as a filmmaker, and then we started hanging out, we started traveling together, and they have more connections, so they were like, hey, the videographer of AirAsia couldn't make it for this trip. Can you substitute? So I did, and they were happy with the video, and I did a few. Did I do a few more videos after that?
So
I'm
in
not
collaboration
sure.
with another
Yeah.
video house or media house.
Oh no. I was still doing videos with AirAsia, and then shortly after, I started doing videos for Cebu Pacific.
Wow.
I'm not gonna talk about, you know, the details of that because it's a bit, you know, but like AirAsia helped me, and it, you know, they helped me expose myself out there, and I'm really grateful for that. And then after,
That's awesome.
I wanted to do my own thing because I didn't just want to rely on other people. So I sent an email to Cebu Pacific, and they were like, yeah.
So it's just cold calling, man. You just sent an email.
Yeah, I sent an email to like 6 emails, and 5 emails weren't working. I don't know if you get that message in your email.
It's like
it
mail
didn't
not
send.
delivered, right?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, at least I tried. And then after a few days, one person got the email. So one email worked, one email was sent, and she was like, oh yeah, I'll introduce you to our content manager,
Wow.
marketing manager. And from there, it's just like,
You had a meeting, you had your portfolio, and you did that. How was that, man? Like, was that hard, or was it an easy transition? Like, cause there's the business side of what you're doing versus like the artistic side, which is just going out, having fun, adrenaline rush. But then here you are having to, you know, put on a shirt, a nice shirt, and like portfolio, showing your laptop, doing slides. Like, or did you do it like that?
Well, they already saw my work even before I got there because I sent them links and everything.
Right.
So
It's an easy sell.
not really. I mean, I wouldn't say easy, but you know, I had, you know, it's 10 destinations, 10 videos, so I always had to make sure that I gave my best in every. You know, I didn't want to disappoint them or anything. So you know, every destination I went to, I made sure I did my best, and you know, I think they're happy.
Yeah.
I think
you haven't asked.
I wouldn't ask. Like,
No, the work was
so
good,
you
man.
like my videos, right?
Yeah. No, the work was good. I saw it. It's pretty amazing.
Thanks,
So-
man. Thanks.
No, that's not a lot of people can say they've been able to achieve that. So you actually make it sound so easy. It's like, oh yeah, I just sent like 6 emails and then we met up and then we got the job. But it's not that simple.
No, it's not.
It's really not that simple.
Yeah, and it can get frustrating too if you email a bunch of people and you get 0 to 1, you know, replies after. It's really frustrating. But I think you just have to keep going, just keep doing your thing, and eventually someone's gonna notice you. So
have you ever been at a point where you felt like just stopping, just film, because you went to school for it, you love it so much, but it's just not working out? Has that ever hit you?
I never gave up on film, because I love film. I never gave up on film. I gave up on doing different kinds of film work, like weddings.
Okay. So you did weddings before?
Yeah, that was
it's hard, man.
That was a challenge,
hard,
especially for my brother. My brother is also a filmmaker, but
so
he's more of CGI and 3D
cool.
and editing. Yeah,
very cool.
So every time we do same day edits,
Oh, man.
I feel bad for him too, because he gets like stressed out and he gets so much cards from different cameras, and it's a lot. And for me also, like, you always have to make sure you get the good shots.
Yeah.
And you have to do it fast.
Who made up same day edit and why?
I think it's Jason Magbanwa.
He's the one that started that trend.
If I'm not mistaken, yeah, I think.
But why do they do it? I mean, I'm not saying it's like wrong or criticizing it to the point that it's not that negative, but it's just it's so much pressure for the photographer, and sometimes the quality is compromised, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, but I mean, I think, like, especially Filipinos, they like to document everything, right? So I think like it's a nice way to have like a highlight video of the entire day, and you get paid. Like the pay is much higher if you do decide to get a same day edit service, So I mean, it's doable, when you get used to it. If you stick to it, you'll get used to it. But for me, it was really not my thing.
Oh, it boggles my mind, man. I just feel like they either have to have like a cookie cutter system of doing it, or they're just so creative, and like what are the shoot so much.
There's like a layout already for the editor,
but that tells me it's not actually that sincere. I don't know. I'm just being real sorry, guys.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like it's really, like it's really hard, especially being a wedding videographer, and now it's so saturated. You can find, And another reason why I didn't want to do wedding videography anymore is because people kept putting their price lower and lower, and
right. Everyone's
you need to make money still, man.
Yeah.
Like
it's become so saturated that it makes sense though, right? If there's more people doing wedding photography, a lot of people picking up cameras, everyone's filming.
Yeah, but some are crazy, like 5,000. 10,000 for a day. I'm like, dude, that's too much, man. Like for the whole team, 10,000. Like you, and so what happens is when other clients ask, they're gonna be like, oh, how come this production house only gives it for 10,000? Why are you charging so much?
Yeah.
You see what happens? So like your value goes.
Yeah. How do you battle that? Because I'm sure even though you're not in wedding, like when you get clients, they still go, oh, but I paid this much.
Well, for me, I'm like, well. I mean, not to brag, but I'm like, well, like, look at the quality that I'm giving. It's much different. You know what I mean?
Man.
Like, I don't think a lot of clients understand that, like, like for example, like me, like, I actually charge pretty reasonable. I don't really charge high, compared to everything that I'm
people
doing.
that charge higher than you, right?
Yeah, of course. But like for me, I just want a reasonable price, because especially with the things that I'm doing, and what the client wants from me, like. I do a lot of things. I don't think people get to.
You're risking your life by going up in the air and jumping or going underwater. Anything can happen, and it's so hard. You could be down there shooting for like an hour and still get like no good material because it's unpredictable, right?
Yeah. And it's not just that too. It's the equipment that you invested on.
It's so expensive,
and it's the late nights, like, especially when I go to expeditions, because I have a client. I don't know if you know a liveaboard. Liveaboards are like yachts, and they take you to different dive sites in a certain area, for 6 days and you do 5 dives a day.
Oh, okay. I saw your video on that.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what it's
so,
called.
You know, every day you're diving.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
much
yeah.
harder for me because, you know, the other people, they're just there to enjoy. So they dive and then they sleep after they eat, sleep. But
Yeah.
me, like,
there
I
to
end
work.
up at 2 a.m. because I'm still
'Cause you're
cleaning my
editing?
camera. Not editing, but I'm cleaning
you
my
have to
camera,
clear your,
dumping the footage.
Oh.
You know, changing batteries, fixing the housing because you have to make sure that the housing is always sealed properly.
Yes, or your
Otherwise, if
camera's
it leaks,
done.
you're
Oh.
you know, so it's all of that, and despite that, like I give reasonable rates. So yeah,
Well,
yeah,
because you're a one-man team, I guess you
Yeah,
can
and I'm a one-man
afford
team
to
too,
do
you know,
it.
like-
it's a big advantage for most clients, but yeah, that's a lot of
it's a lot of work.
That's
yeah.
a lot of work that people don't realize you're going through.
know.
And so they're like, why is this dollar figure? You're just making a video and editing. My wedding videographer's only charge this much. What's going on? But it's like, yo, look at what he needs to do to
Yeah.
actually achieve it.
Yeah. So you know, like not all services are equal. Some people are more experienced. You know, some are still new.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like just because you're paying lower for another company doesn't mean that they're gonna do, you know, better than the ones that request a higher, you know,
Absolutely.
cost. You know, so
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're providing something that only you can do, like, are there a lot of divers, skydiver? I know there's a lot of scuba divers in the Philippines, but do you
Yeah.
know a lot of skydivers in the Philippines?
Yeah, they're mostly military.
Military guys.
Yeah, there's like 6-7 civilian skydivers.
I was
here.
gonna say, it's like, is it in the hundreds, man? Is there like 200?
I don't think so. I've met a few half Filipinos.
But like that
skydiving
live
in
here,
the States,
you know?
but the one that live here is really few.
6 or 7.
Maybe 7, max 10. But I mean, I've seen some people learning how to doing the classes now.
Yeah.
I
So
see
it's
it
growing.
in Cebu. So I think
Nice.
it's growing very slowly, but
Yeah. And how
it's
many
gonna
of them
take a
can do
while.
film and can do it at your level?
Oh, I don't know.
You're the only one,
I
man.
don't
That's
know,
why
man.
you're here. That's why we're sitting down right now. So if you're out there, if you're watching this and you can do it better than Cloud can, you let me know. Let's
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
down. No, I'm just kidding,
Yeah.
man. But
We'll have a podcast as well.
yeah, they'll get a podcast on creative pickings. No, man, you're the only one. Because I tried to do my research. I actually have a lot of friends that do scuba, but when I saw your material, the quality in what you were doing and how much fun you're having doing it, and the fact that you did it all, blew my mind, man. I was like, wow,
Thanks,
this
man.
guy is a adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
I had to find out why you're doing it, and like, yeah, whether you're like, this is what you do for a living. So you're not doing anything else, right? Like, you just do film full time.
Well, we're trying to start a travel agency
Oh.
here. So we have a bangka in Coron.
Hey.
Yeah. So
You
we're
can
starting.
put it all together, man. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure everything out. It's a lot, honestly. Like it's a lot of, you know, because you're so preoccupied with everything. You're thinking of different things all the time. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Like, especially me, my mind doesn't shut up, and
You're just.
I think that's why skydiving is very healthy for me.
Oh.
Because I mean, for me, I think like crazy. Like I, you know, overthink about everything, and I pay attention to detail and everything, and my
Yeah.
mind doesn't stop. And when I go skydiving, it just shuts. You know, like my mind just
Wow.
shuts off, and I just enjoy the moment. And I think that's why I keep coming back. So for people, like I guess, like for people who were struggling like me, like always thinking, always, you know, like always in their heads, I think skydiving is a nice way to like, you know, like relax.
That's really interesting, man. Yeah, that's kind of. When I interviewed for one of our episodes, Benjo, who climbs up high rises, it's
Yeah,
the
I
same
saw
thing
that.
for him.
That's really cool,
He's
man.
able to get into this Zen mode, so that's really interesting.
Yeah, 'cause when
it's your
you-
form of meditation.
Yeah, it's like meditation because you're not thinking about the past.
Yeah.
You're not worrying about the future. You're just in the present. You're like, you're literally, especially when you're skydiving, you're literally enjoying every second.
Yeah.
That's why I told you 1 minute is long.
Wow.
Like 1 minute is a long and very fun free fall. You
Wow.
know, so yeah, like it's awesome. Dude.
You know, I'm scared of heights, man, and it's one of those things
You should do it,
I
yeah.
never like bungee jumping
Face your
freaks
fear,
me
man.
out. Dude, I hate roller coasters, man. I feel really sick. Like after I've done 4 roller coasters in my life, and I puked once. But every time it's like I'm paralyzed.
Well, let me tell you. Sorry. Well, let me tell you, man. Like,
Convince me, sell it to me.
roller coasters, you feel that sting in your stomach,
I
right?
hate it, man.
But you feel it.
Yeah,
You
you feel like
away in EK. Like you
Even
feel
just
that-
like that dinky pirate ship, I hate
yeah,
that.
The
I hate
Anchors
that.
Away. Yeah,
Is that what it's called?
yeah. I love that.
I hate it.
But you feel it in your stomach, right?
Yeah, it feels sick
and
out there.
bungee. Have you done bungee?
No, I'm so scared.
Yeah. Well, I did bungee in Macau, and it's different because the ground is so close to you.
Yeah. You're
So
like,
when you jump off, you really see yourself falling. So that's like you see yourself
You're gonna
hitting the ground.
splat. Yeah, but then
and you don't have any control. You're just there's just a rope.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
know when it's gonna
Oh, man.
pull you back up. So it's scarier. But skydiving isn't because when you skydive, it's like you're floating. You don't notice yourself falling down the ground because you're
Okay.
so up high.
Yeah.
So it's like a giant electric fan below you is just blowing
And
you
you're
up.
just
It's like you're floating. You know, so it doesn't. I swear, it's really not scary. Like,
So do you like roller coasters?
yeah,
Okay.
I love roller coasters.
But you still like it.
Yeah,
Because I think I'm a control freak, man. Like when I'm on a roller coaster, I'm actually like you see it coming and I try to fight. Like, oh, it's
you're
coming.
like, yeah.
I'm resisting. They're just like, no, let your hands go. I'm like, oh, but I don't like this at all. Like, and then I don't know, man.
Did you like the space shuttle in EK?
I haven't tried that.
Oh, you haven't really?
No.
It's like your roller coaster with the 2 loops.
Oh, I think I'll do that, man.
Oh, man, it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so you like it. There
I
must
mean,
be
I like anything that takes my mind off things, you know, like
Right. Even if it's
it just
painful?
makes me roller coaster. I don't know if it's painful. You find it painful
after.
after dizzy.
Definitely.
You
I
get
sick,
dizzy.
man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get sick. I want
Yeah.
to puke.
Yeah.
But that's the probably difference between you and me. No, you know what? Skydiving, I believe I will try one day because you do have more
should.
control.
And do it with us, man. Like
Yeah.
we're USPA accredited, very safe. The instructor is a really good friend. He's awesome, man. He's from Chicago, and he sold all his belongings there, his house, and now he lives in Bantayan, Cebu. He has a house
Oh, cool.
overlooking, in the cliffs. Like he's living the life, man. He's a
Yeah.
really nice guy.
The dab life.
And
Wow.
he makes everyone happy every day. Like he just takes the people out to skydiving.
That's
and-
true. Every single time someone lands from skydiving, they're not like, "Oh, that sucked." Like,
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
the worst.
Yeah,
every time
exactly,
it's
man.
like, "Yes!" You just see
It's
people
always
happy.
high fives and like, yeah, that was sick.
Yeah, it's a party every day.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the goods and like the amazing part of skydiving, but out of the 200 dives, around 200, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had like a scary experience? Has that ever happened?
Oh yeah, 49th skydive was my first.
Oh, you memorized the number
Yeah,
too.
because it was
What happened?
It was a memorable. I mean, it wasn't. It's like the worst thing and the best thing happened to you in half a second. Well, my parachute malfunctioned. I was in Chicago. My instructor Brad. He told me, hey, you should do more skydives in the States. You'll learn more.
Yeah.
There's a lot of skydivers there. You get to go with big planes. So you should go to Chicago. So I went to Chicago. I lived with him for 1 month and a half. And during my 49th skydive, 49 or 59, I'm not sure. But my parachute malfunctioned and it started twisting like crazy. And usually when the parachute spins, you can still kind of fix it, but I was already diving down.
Yeah.
If you're spinning up and you're not diving, that's fine, but if you're spinning and you're diving down the earth really fast, you have to make a decision really quick.
So it's a drop like this. Are you going like that or like this?
If there's a parachute,
Yeah.
if you're spinning like that, that's fine. But if you're spinning like your body
Like up
is
in like north and
facing,
south.
yeah. If you're
Whoa.
if your body is facing and your parachute is horizontal already, and you're diving down really
Yeah.
fast, then you have to make a decision really quick.
Oh, wow.
The rule says you have to make a decision by 2,500 feet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't make it if you pull your reserve. So even if you're like 1,000 feet
You'll still land.
and you do your reserve parachute, you won't it won't open up in time.
Oh.
So you have to make a decision at 2,500 feet, and I was at 3,000, and I have an audible altimeter.
Okay.
So it beeps on different altitudes. So I knew I was at 3,000 feet because it beeped the second time.
Yeah.
So from there I was like, it. So emergency procedures. I cut off my main parachute.
This all this is happening while you're spinning like this.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's really, really fast. It's really, really fast. Like, so I pulled it off, got the parachute, and I started tumbling again. Then got myself stable. Then I put my reserve parachute on, and I was like, wow.
Yeah. Life.
And I was like smiling, like it's like the worst thing and the best thing in your life happened in less than a second. That's crazy, right? That's crazy.
That's
and
bananas, man.
and I was landing already, and when I was about to land, everyone was out. Like the skydivers were out waiting for me, and they were like cheering, like eh. And they're not cheering because I'm safe. They're cheering because it's a rule in the drop zone anywhere in the world. If you use your reserve parachute, you have to buy everyone a beer. So that's the rule.
They're
there.
like, yeah, we got a free beer.
Yeah. And you have to buy
Whoa,
you have to buy a case of beer to the person that packed your reserve parachute.
Wow.
Because you're not allowed to pack your reserve parachute.
Well, hey, that's fair, man. Because it's like
that's the last-
life or
it's the last,
death.
Yeah, it's the last. So it has to be a licensed person to to pack your reserve parachute. So, yeah, and then we spent 3 days looking because the drop zone, the airport, is around cornfields.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the parachute is expensive and it flew away, so we had to find it.
To find out, I thought you had to pay for that. So you had to find it.
So
Oh, man.
me, Brad, and some friends, we were like in the cornfield every morning, and we're like, okay,
It's like hunting down.
all right. Then we have radios. We have radios with us, and like,
Seriously?
okay, if you see something black and blue, that's probably it.
Oh man.
So, and then we even had like the pilot was our friend, so he flew his small plane and
Just to
he
see.
was looking from above and he couldn't find it, but Brad found it after 3 days.
in
And
the
I was like,
cornfields. Wow, man.
yeah, and I got GoPro footage of it too. So it's really cool,
So
like,
hilarious.
it's really surreal, like all of that happening. It's really surreal. So I documented everything. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So
like.
that whole thing with like you spinning, that's all on a GoPro too.
Yeah. I also
Wow.
have, well, there's another one where I spin, but I was able to manage. I didn't have to pull my reserve.
Yeah.
That was recent, like just last year.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was fine. It was not a big deal.
Man, I'm still at that point where you're spinning like this, like north
Yeah.
to south, and the world that you see with your eyes open is just like.
It's crazy because you're
That's-
thinking, because it's happening really fast, right? It's
Yeah.
like, and like your harness is like your back and but at the same
Whoa.
time your mind is focused on one thing, emergency procedures, and that's
survival,
why
man. Yeah.
that's why USPA the USPA organization is very strict when it comes to getting your license. Like you
Yeah.
have to know your emergency procedures even when you're at a very intense state
Yeah.
moment, like even if everything's you up, you have to like really think, and it becomes second nature. So
Yeah.
it was weird because it was really fast. At the same time, in my head, it was slow. Because, like, okay, 3,000 feet, I have to do my emergency procedure. And then bang, bang. And next thing you know, there's a white parachute. White usually is the reserve parachute. That's
So
the
you
color
know.
of the reserve parachute. It was white. I was like, thank God. That was wild.
I think it takes a certain type of person, man, to be able to think like that. You remind me of like a modern day like Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise, kind of Ethan Hunt. Like
I watched the latest one. That's cool, man.
right,
what he
like
did.
you have to think
He's a good skydiver too.
on your
man.
feet, and you have to be able to react. I mean, it's unfortunate for the 37 that have passed away in the past few years, right? But for
Every
the most part,
happens,
yeah.
like
But for the most part,
it's relatively
you
safe
have to be
still.
pretty sharp. Man. Like,
Yeah.
You know, like a NASCAR racer has to think really fast, or
Yeah.
else it's like you flip your car.
Yeah.
It's like that.
But you know, I knew that one day, because my instructors, my friends, my mentors, they're always telling me, it's not if you get the parachute malfunction, it's when you get the
when.
parachute. So
Well, that's
that has
comforting.
to be your mindset. You know
It's
what I
gonna
mean?
happen one day.
You always have to be prepared. You'll never know. Even if you
Dude.
do everything right,
Yeah.
even if you do everything right, you never know. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, yeah.
You can get a strong gust of wind. You can, you know, you'll never know. So
Nature,
it's
right?
always just being prepared.
So
just
true. Well,
you
hey,
know.
I'm sure you instruct a man who's done over 18,000 dives. It's like how many
Yeah.
life and death experiences that person had, right? Like it happens, no?
Yeah, but actually he only had like 2 or 3 parachute fails.
Out of 18,000?
Yeah.
That's so stupid, but seriously, that's it?
Yeah. Right? Like
That's
wow,
crazy.
just 3.
Okay,
like,
then
that's-
your ratio is pretty bad, man. You had a close call at only 200.
I know, like usually like for my friend it happened his parachute malfunctioned his 1,000
Thousands
after 1,000
Wow.
dives, you know, but I don't know, maybe it might be my packing or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I pack my own chute.
There you go.
So maybe, but actually a brake line broke. I didn't want to say it because I don't want to scare people who
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
do skydiving,
Oh, no,
but that was my fault. I didn't check properly.
That's fine, man. Yeah, no, like you said, it happens or it
Yeah,
will
yeah.
happen. It's like, I don't know, man. You can get run over just as, you know.
Exactly.
It's more dangerous walking down the streets than up there, probably, right? I
Mismo.
get you. I get
Mismo.
you.
Yeah.
Do you think
that's always what I say to people? Like anything can happen, so
Yeah.
might as well just do it.
Just do it, man. Do you think you'll be doing this, like, I don't know, until you're like 60, 70, 80, 90?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
There are people that skydive and they're 80,
No way.
70. So it's skydiving is like a lazy sport.
Okay.
It's not like basketball where you're running all the
Right,
time and
right.
everything. The key to skydiving is being relaxed.
Mm.
Keeping your body soft in the air so you're more stable and it's easier to, you know, do formations, go to your friends,
Yeah.
and up in the sky. So the key there is to be relaxed. So, you know, I don't think age will make a big difference. It's also, well, she's a grandma. She's like 90 years old and she still skydives
Yeah.
in Norway, I think, or something. So, you know, like, I don't know. I think
Wow,
age is
man.
just a number, man. Like, just
That's crazy, dude. I
Yeah.
can't believe that they're doing that. But I guess when you just do it, why not?
yeah, man. It's really
Is
awesome.
that kind of like your mantra and things, man? Just like, if it scares you, you do it?
My mantra is kind of like go big or go home. Like go hard or go home. I mean, if you're gonna do something, might as well do it. You know, 100%.
Love it.
Yeah, and yeah.
For those who want to get into skydiving or even do film like what you do with their adventure, whatever it is that they want to do, like
Yeah.
how do you have any tips or things that you keep in mind? I like that mantra though, but any other like tips?
When they're doing when they want to do their thing.
Yeah, like well, just the fact that you do skydiving and it's more than just a hobby, man.
Well, I would say stop making excuses. I mean, if you really want something, you'll find a way to do it. You know, like for example, like getting my skydive license.
Yeah.
You know, it had to be a secret. You know, because no
What?
way that my parents are gonna like, oh yeah, okay, have a safe trip learning to do your skydive. Like, you know, I don't think my parents would react that way. So
Yeah. Do you have very
I had to-
strict traditional parents or?
no, they're lenient and
Lenient.
everything, but you know, I'm the youngest son, so
So they're scared for you, man.
yeah, they're just scared. So like, I every time I do some crazy like I just tell them after, and they're like, really, you did that? I'm like, what? It's done.
Yeah, you can't freak out. I already did it. So.
Yeah. Actually, after my first ever skydive in Dubai, my mom was like, okay, don't do that anymore. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then a few months after, I was Googling where to learn proper skydiving. And I was
yeah.
in Thailand, and I was like, so I saved up
Oh
like,
my god.
yeah, my last 6 projects with the company, I saved all of it.
Yeah.
So I can
So you go in.
spend it for my license and my training. And
wow.
I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Thailand for a month. What are you gonna do there? Oh, I'm just gonna shoot a documentary. I didn't really shoot a documentary, but like I'll be back in a
I
month.
had my GoPro. It's a documentary on me getting my
Not the
license.
GoPro.
I want to be part of the Parachute Association.
Yeah, but yeah, I just said I'm shooting a documentary and like okay, and after a month I was like, oh, I have something to tell you. I'm a licensed skydiver now, by the way.
my
And they're like,
God.
what?
Yeah,
and
you're the worst kid, man.
And I told them everything.
And then they're just like, okay.
Yeah, they can't do it. Yeah, well, my dad, I think
we don't
is.
trust you anymore,
I
son.
mean, my dad is kind of stoked. I can see he has a worried look every time I tell him I have a skydive trip or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But I know that he's kind of stoked about it because he was a pilot
Oh, okay.
in the Air Force. So I think at least there's still some sort of aviation, that runs through our family.
Yeah, man, that's
so-
probably why you love the sky and just
Yeah.
it's in your blood.
Yeah, I love everything, man. Like,
That's amazing, dude. Yo, man, I just want to say thanks. Thanks for being part of the
thanks,
show.
man.
You
Thanks
have
for
an
having
amazing
me, man.
story, guys.
Thank
Check
you.
out Claude Evangelista. He's got some
Thanks.
amazing videos.
Yeah.
Hire him for your next adventure.